So right now, the way the job listing is set up is someone applies to this job, the resume is put in, they answer these questions, and when they apply, I mean, just for example purposes, let me just go ahead and apply to show you what this looks like. All right, so let me just get a resume real quick that I have created just for testing. Bug testing. There's a resume. Oh, that's not a PDF file. There we go. All right, so I'm going to proceed to apply. All right, so everything is two-factor authentication to make sure we're not getting spam type of applications. Let me go ahead and put that in. KMLK. And so it says, thank you for applying. We'll notify you in the email for any further updates. Okay, so this obviously, this screen needs to be redesigned as well. All right, so now as the recruiter, when I go in here, I see the job applicant. Daniel Pastoriello has one score, 1 out of 5, because I think the resume I used was called content creator resume. So obviously it didn't really match this type of job role. So it tells the recruiter, hey, you only have, it's not a very top candidate. You can look at the AI remark. And so the AI remark actually tells you, hey, the candidate has a strong background in content creation, digital marketing, but lacks direct experience and skills in UI, UX design, which are crucial for the UI, UX designer role. The candidate's experience and skills are more aligned with content creation and branding rather than specific. So this gives the recruiter recommendation so they don't have to actually go through the entire resume. I mean, you could actually go through it and see what my resume is, but recruiters just don't have time these days. So they could take a quick glance, and this is a brand new feature. It just got launched this past week, so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that's a super cool feature.
Yeah, and so you can see even a score. So the match score for this job position is 33%. Now, what happens now? Nothing, right? Because none of our automations for this job are actually set. There's absolutely zero automations for this. So this basically, all the candidates just sit here until the recruiter goes in and says, okay, I like this person. Let me go ahead and shortlist them. Let me go ahead and schedule an interview with them. Let me go ahead and invite them to an assessment. Okay. So everything is manual. Now, if I wanted to, and this is where, this is our bread and butter, we could go in here and do automations. So right now, the screening questions don't do anything. So let's say we want to shortlist based on the questionnaire. So what happens is it takes the screening questions we built, and then it tells you, what do you want the answer to be? So I need this to be yes, I need this to be yes. And then we could leave this blank. And so basically, if they click no in any of these, then they won't be shortlisted. So a lot of recruiters call this knockout questions. So that might be relevant to you, Try, as you're selling this product. Because I mean, there's going to be a long transition period when we actually have this user interface and we have to still sell it. And then as Serafina works on redesigning it, then obviously we'll get the right terminology that most resonates with customers. But United States recruiters call these knockout questions because it knocks out the applicant and says, well, obviously, if they're not over 18, we don't even want to look at them, right? So it knocks them out of the workflow. All right. So anyway, so we can automate that. We could also automate the resume skill match score and say anybody with over 30% makes it through, right? And then we have the other automations like essential skills. They need to have UX experience, location. I don't care about location because it's remote. And then all these are and or rules. So it could be they need to have 30% match plus and a UX skill in their resume, or it could be or. Either they hit 30% of the skills match or they have this skill, right? And then we go into the assessment portion. So this is, I want you to think of everything before tests and assessments as the application process before, like during the application. So obviously when they apply, what can we shortlist them for? So once they've been shortlisted, what would happen is, let me just go ahead and save this real quick. So now what would happen is if someone applies to this role, all right, so this tells you all the automations. Someone applies to this role, they go ahead and put in their job application, their information, and their answers, right? Because we added this as a screening parameter. If they hit if the resume matches 30% or over, the system will say, okay, let's shortlist. Then, so I would have actually been shortlisted here because of the 30%, 33% score. Then it would say, okay, do they have UX specifically in their resume? Well, I actually don't have UX skills in my resume, so actually I would get knocked out. I wouldn't make it to the next step. But let's say I did, then it would go to the next step. All right, so based on the questionnaire, did they actually answer the screening questions correctly or with the answers that you require? If it's a yes, then it will create a shortlist. So it would say shortlisted. Right now, that's it. We haven't set up the rest of the automations. So there's more. So if the recruiter wants to then automate the assessment. So right now, the way it is now, the system will just tell me this person has been shortlisted. So then the recruiter has to decide, all right, so this person is a top candidate. Do I want to schedule an interview or do I want to invite them to an assessment? Like, what's my next step? Okay. So let's say they want to automate some more. So then after this bucket, then we can automate the assessment portion. So we can add an assessment. And we have an AI interview assessment, which is just a little bit more complicated to show you, during a demo. But we could go right here and select the assessment. And so I want you to also see this user interface. Just make a point out, Serafina. This is a little bit, I mean, it's hard. Once you have like 1,000 assessments, this is going to be very difficult to find. I mean, it's just not going to be very effective. Maybe it could be in alphabetical order. I mean, you could always search. So I could always search like UX and see if anything comes up, but it doesn't because we didn't call it U/X, we called it UX. So, I mean, there it is. And then we can do, let's shortlist based on the scores. Let's do anyone over 50% score. So now everyone that got shortlisted here, what will happen is the system will automatically flag them as shortlisted, and then the system will automatically send an email after a day. Okay, it doesn't do it immediately, just so it doesn't seem automated. And the next day it would say, hi, Try, or hi, Serafina. You have been shortlisted for the UX UI designer job in MTest Hub. You have been invited to an assessment. Please take the assessment here. And so it would send them the link, and then they would basically go to take the assessment. Once the assessment is graded, the system will automatically grade it if you have set it up for automatic grading. And then if it hits over 50%, so let's say it's 51%, then they would be shortlisted to the next bucket. So what happens now? Well, if the recruiter doesn't set anything up, it would just show on the job listing right here. It would say the assessment they took. It would tell you their score, and then it would say shortlisted. That's it. We haven't automated further. So at least now, when they just think about the recruiter, they have 100 applicants. Now they could literally go through and make sure that this person has been shortlisted. This person has taken an assessment. All right, so let's move to the next step. Let's select these people and let's invite them to an interview. Okay, so you could select multiple candidates. Let's say the recruiter doesn't want to do that manually. So that's the last automation. So after this assessment scoring, the candidates that have been shortlisted, if you wanted to schedule interviews automated, you would turn this on. So this is where you could do walk-in interviews or you could do virtual. Now the virtual, so the walk-in is basically you schedule the days that you want to do walk-in interviews, right? So you do this time to this time, you apply, and then you put in the address, and then you have open interviews that day. Or you could do virtual, and you can do select the interviewer. So these interviewers are all going to be your recruiters or all your team that uses MTest Hub. Okay. So remember, we set up your interview availability when you first started.
Yep.
So as soon as you set it up, remember the first event type for everyone was always interviews. So it defaults to interviews. You could always set up more for many different purposes, but everyone gets a default interview time block or event link. So the system will automatically allow you to choose the interviewer and then select the event. And so right here we have an event. And so I have interviews right here, basically. Okay, so then what I would do is submit that. And that will automate the interview scheduling. So if you think about it, if you set up all these automations, what would happen is that a candidate would apply to here. They would immediately, the next day, let's say they meet all the qualifications, they would get an email that says, well, first, the day they apply, they say, thank you for applying to this job role. We will be in touch. Then the next day, let's say they meet all the qualifications, the first bucket, they would get an email that says, thank you for applying. You have been shortlisted. Please take this assessment to move to the next step. Once they complete the assessment and they meet the minimum scoring requirements, which it tells you right here. So this is basically, it tells you all the automations that have been set up. So if they meet over 50%, then they would get an email that says, congratulations, you have passed the assessment. We would like to invite you for an interview. And then the last email they would get is that says, please click the link to schedule your interview. And what would it look like? Well, basically it would look just like, this link looks. So it's interviews, schedule your interview link, and then they would select it. I have this off, so people can't schedule right now, but that's basically what they would see. Then what happens is it gets on your calendar as a recruiter, obviously, but then also it goes into a section right here, scheduled interviews. On the day of, you will see this candidate that has scheduled an interview. And so when that candidate schedules an interview, then you'll be able to leave interview feedback. So I want to know, Serafina, do you have any follow-up questions over what we've gone over so far?
No, not for now. I just feel like, okay, probably when I start using the application, when I start like doing things on it, like maybe making use of it or something, I'll have like so many questions for you. But right now, I'm just like viewing, I'm just seeing it. So I've not really put it into practice. So no, not now, not now.
Okay, perfect. I did want to share, and this was a question last week, obviously. If you notice, you could import job applicants, you could add job applicants manually. You can deactivate or close the position so that it's not live. I wanted to show you that when you are a customer with us, you have the capability to add these jobs to your career page. So this is something that we really haven't gone over. So let me just share with you. So down here, we have a careers page. Oh, and by the way, Serafina, if we're going to keep this footer with these links, let's just make sure before, hopefully today or tomorrow, we just at least give them a new hero image that looks a little bit better, because this just doesn't look good.
Okay, I think Eminence said he was going to instruct Shubham to just make it blow. Although I asked him if I should redesign, but he said I should just hold on. That he's going to inform Shubham about the changing the header to blue or something.
Yeah, we just need something as a placeholder so that it looks a little bit better. And then, because like I said, this software is a little bit more of my bigger priority. So I would rather you not spend multiple days or weeks designing a privacy page or the careers page, because we don't really advertise. I mean, it's just for demo purposes, but we're not,
Okay.
we're not like Coca-Cola where people are going to Coca-Cola and applying to jobs, or like big companies. So people don't look for jobs at MTest Hub. So when we advertise jobs, we usually use a job board like LinkedIn and things. And so actually that's, I did want to mention that. So when you are a company that has a career page, we have the capability to embed all our job listings into their career page. So notice you have the UI UX designer, data analytic and reporting officer, this one, and we can match their branding, their font, and all these things. And what happens when you click apply, it goes to the application landing page. Okay. So if you wanted, if your customer has a career page, right? So they have a page like this, or they don't have one and they should, and you want to tell them, why don't you have a career page? Well, maybe they don't have a tool that allows them to do this easily. And actually, I'll tell you, with my credit union, everything on the career page is manual. They use Paylocity for their job application tracking system, which is horrible. And every time they want to put a job on their career page, you have to go in there and actually manually type it in and then put a link to the Paylocity landing page. So our tool allows you to automatically upload it. So notice right here it says B2B social media marketing. Actually, let's just use the UX one. The UI UX designer. If you turn this off and make it deactive, so let's just do deactivate or close, and we refresh, the career page is no longer there, right? Because this is a widget. So what happens is when we have a new customer, we would have them put this code into their career page. And then if they don't know how to do it, we would just send it to their IT team. And they could embed that code, that JavaScript code, into their career page. And then any job listings that they push live or that are active will automatically load to their career page. Or let's say it's a recruiting agency. So for example, we have a recruiting agency that actually was one of our partners. They have a find your career section, and they have, let's say like this, they have a career, they have a section to put job listings as well. So they have a different user interface, and we could always change ours as well. Like the way we did it was to put everything on the page because it helps with SEO. But if we wanted to create little links, we could easily do that as well. And we could change the branding as well. Notice add styling, we would change it. It requires CSS coding knowledge, but our team can go ahead and set it up for the new customer during their onboarding. So that's pretty cool. It's a cool new feature that we would set the customer up in the beginning. What else? Talent pools. All right, so actually, let me just show you the candidate profile real quick, just so you can see what it looks like. So, and Serafino, when you're testing this out, feel free to put in your application, feel free to test with your personal email address, create an application with a resume, test how, the automations are set up so you can actually experience it, because every little bit of the process, we want to be sure that it's a good user experience. So it's not just for the recruiter, but we want to make sure that the email being sent to the applicant has correct grammar or looks nice, right? I've been working on this project for over a year, and there has been so much improvement. But again, I'm not a designer. I understand good English, and so we've already made the adjustments. Now we have to look at it from a user interface and user experience standpoint. So let me go ahead and activate this again. So you can see that immediately as soon as you activate it, it will show up. Control-Shift-R, and there it is, right? Okay, so the candidate profile, if we were to click this candidate right now, it just shows this information, right? So it has their candidate, it shows their screening question answers, their resume, the interviews they have scheduled, and any assessments they've taken, and you can invite them manually. We set this up this way because, like I told you in one of our calls, the future is these candidates actually could go in and create a profile and actually have a login. And so there is that capability. So let me show you. I think I did it under this. Well, I don't know what I did it under, but there is a capability to create a login under a candidate.mtesthub, and you can see all your applications and see your resumes and all those stuff. But right now, with this candidate profile, we have the capability for the recruiter, because this is who our customer is, to create talent pools and assign different tags. So let's say this candidate isn't a good UX designer, but they are a good content creator. So we could just put, you know, content, comma, marketing, comma, social media, and then submit. And so now these tags are tied to this candidate. So when I right now want to search for candidates, so let's go to candidate profiles, and we have a lot of different candidates. Let me see, how do I do filter? We could search by tags and select, I want to look at everyone that has marketing. And so just filter that. And obviously the person that I have listed as marketing shows up. So how does this work? Well, let's say I have, you know, in my career, I have had thousands of applicants apply to my jobs. And specifically, you know, I like this person. I think this person would be good at a marketing job in the future. Well, let's say I have a new marketing job. Well, I could easily go into my previous applicants and look for people that have marketing experience, that I have tagged marketing, and I could search it. And then from there, I can go ahead and invite to a specific job post. So let's say I have a new job post and I want to invite them to it. So I have a content creator job. I would invite this person saying, and so that person would receive an email that says, hi, you've been invited to this content creator job. And actually, let me show you what the email looks like. So it says, invitation to apply for a job. Hi there, you've been invited to apply on a job, content creator entered for mTestHub by mTestHub Global. Below is the link to apply to the job. And then you would apply there. And then actually this job specifically is inactive. So if we go here to content creator, where is it? Page 2 probably. Yeah, it's inactive, so we could activate it. And so now when I click it, it should work. And so we could invite specific candidates from the past, right, that we identified were top candidates. So try, from your experience, this is like a CRM for applicants.
Yep.
For recruiters, it's called applicant tracking system.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a lot. Recruiters are very fond of their applicant tracking system and these capabilities because it makes their job more efficient longer term. And you know, the value they have is all the applicants that they've had in the past. How can we re-engage them? Because I've already screened them. I've already identified that they were good. It's just they weren't good for that fit. And so you can create those talent pools, and you can create a talent pool called, you know, top marketing candidates, let's say. Top marketing people, and then save changes. So now I have a talent pool called top marketing people. And so let's say I interview this person, okay, Daniel Pastorello. He was really great. I want to add him to that talent pool. So I would just add him to marketing candidates. And so one day when I'm hiring for top marketing candidates, I literally could have 500 people here, and I could just invite all of them to a job. Or I could go in there and select how many people I want to invite to this new job I have. And I could create different talent pools for different regions, Southeast region, Atlanta marketing people. It's all customizable. So like I said, there's a lot of different capabilities and use cases we can use it. So that's why it's very important we understand the needs of the customer, because this demo could take hours. I mean, there's still more I haven't gone over with you.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's why, yes, to your point, we have to do those discovery calls, spend a little bit more time understanding what features would be best to show them and how we could meet their needs with this platform. And then once we get them on, we can get them to engage with the other features and the other capabilities and get them, as a sticky customer. So that's it. I mean, for today, we only have like a couple more minutes. I want to give you some time for your bathroom break before our next meeting, but any quick questions that came up or any last minute thoughts?
No, none for now. The demo was quite insightful. So yeah, not for now.
Yeah. Likewise.
All right, perfect. Well, I'll send this recording to you. Do you guys get the email with the recording link after the calls?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay, perfect. If you don't get this one, just let me know and I'll send you the link afterwards. But
Are you saving all of your recordings of demos in a specific area, Daniel? Or can
they're
you?
all in Firefly. So the way Fireflies works
Well,
is I have every single meeting
okay.
on here, and I could always search and I could say like meeting, and so anything with the name meeting would come up.
Yeah.
Now I haven't downloaded them all because there's just so many, but for example, today's call, I'll probably download it and upload it to YouTube under like an unlisted view so that we could easily share with new people and stuff like that.
What I was thinking is, if we can have a database of like the demo piece, I think it would be good to have, when sending out trials, to have that kind of like instructional resources available.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I could download it and we could edit it and things like that.
All right.
Good idea. All right, team, it was great to meet with you. I'll schedule some more of these as we move forward, but I'll catch you on the next meeting.
Oh, good news. Laptop just came.
Oh, yay.
I'm opening it.
All right.
Awesome. All right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
I'll see you in a bit.